Hey, coming up on today's podcast, we have a safety recall on a device called a Onewheel. Do you know what a Onewheel is? Well, we just happen to have Side Shot on hand. It's going to explain that to us. Along with, we've got a little racing coming back to the Nashville Fairgrounds. And if you don't know about that, we're going to tell you all about it. We got some Chin Edition F-150 Lightning SEMA build talk. The next-gen Prius is out. We're going to tell you what it is and what it isn't. How fast is that new Lucid Sapphire? Get off your money. You might want to buy one. It's going to be cool. And did you know that Twitter has movies now? All that coming up on today's podcast right after this. Hey, everybody, welcome into the podcast, The Counter Show. My good friend Keith over there, and Side Shot is in the building. Side Shot?
I had him, we're on the road
over there, pal?
And I had him talking into the mic.
Yeah?
And he's like, I didn't know what to say. So, okay, you can stop now. So I said, do the ABCs backwards. And he's still working on it. Hey, showtime.
That's a tough
Jay?
one.
What's up, everybody?
That is good brain exercise. So make sure you try that.
It's good practice for when you're 21.
Yeah.
No, it's actually, wait, did I? No, we're not doing that.
No. Don't go there. No, that's counting backwards, and we don't want that to happen, right?
D-C-B-A.
I did it.
All right, congratulations and welcome in.
You passed the test to be on the podcast today. Thank you, sir. Side Shot, welcome in. You are our youngest guru. We always love having you on. And typically when you're on, that means that you guys are in some sort of undisclosed location. Yeah.
RV-less break. We are renting a condo. The Blue Angels are done for, I think, the rest of the week. They were flying this morning.
Oh, they're done?
I think so, because it's holiday. We're coming up on a holiday.
Oh, that's right. I saw that. Actually, I saw it on the news. There's been a lot of.
They fly over for holiday?
Well, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. How to fry a turkey?
Well, they get
fly over.
Yeah. They get time off too, right? They're on vacation too.
Sure, they do. Unless they're active duty, like in, a foreign land somewhere. Sometimes they'll have some food, but they're on duty always, man. It's so thank you guys for guys and gals in uniform for serving. God bless you. Hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season coming up, and we support everything you guys are doing. So thanks very much.
Wait a second.
What?
Fieldsobrietytest.org. What are you looking at?
Oh, he's getting ready. See, well, you challenged him to learn it backwards, man.
Yeah.
Now touch your nose. Touch your nose.
All right. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
I'm literally
actually
pulling up our stuff and it's on my iPad. Yeah.
Can we put a link? Can we put a
link?
Podcast link up for field sobriety test? Whatever.
Sure.
Anyway, don't go there. Let's just We'll talk about that later. Wow. So you're there. You got a little bit of echo going on. We know. Just try to kind of preface this a little bit. So you're not in your normal studio, so you're on location. So you have some challenges from time to time. So
if podcasting from the kitchen is a challenge, then yeah.
yeah. So you just acquired something new, didn't you, Keith? Did you little rider something there?
I brought it's here. It's here.
Do you have it with you?
So yeah.
Have you been riding
it? It's heavy. Yeah.
Have you really?
Yeah, he has too.
So now when you guys are riding this thing, do you wear your helmet?
Oh yeah. So you're talking about a Onewheel. And there is this whole class of personal transport vehicles that is out now. And I actually learned this from Disney because I had to look up the rules at the Disney campground to see what was it like Segways.
Is it PTV?
E-scooters.
Is it PTV or PEV?
It falls under either personal transport vehicle or plug-in electric vehicle or personal electric vehicle. And a Onewheel, a Segway, electric kick scooter, the ones that we've podcasted on where you see a lot of people like renting.
Yeah.
Same class, basically. So I got a Onewheel for my birthday.
And can you rent these? Can you rent these?
I don't think so.
Probably not, unless somebody bought a lot of them and is just gonna rent them out.
Bought a lot of those and a lot of insurance.
I don't know of anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're dangerous, of course, and there is risk involved, but some of it, just like anything else, Jay, it just completely depends on, when you learn to ride a bicycle, you probably started with training wheels, or at the very least, you started with your feet on the ground and you weren't going 15 miles an hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same here. You're not going to take off and set the thing to max and rip down the road at 22 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You're going to do 1 mile an hour. And
until you don't fall off it anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah. So these things are pretty cool. So they're under scrutiny lately by the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, and the thing that's interesting to me in particular, and I'm pulling up the recall here, is what the Safety Commission is complaining about. So, yes, there is danger in these Onewheels, but the danger that I would say exists is different than what they are pointing to.
Mm-hmm.
The danger is almost like if you play baseball, there's a small chance you might get hit in the face with a ball. I know that personally.
Yeah, and that's
true.
That's a valid point that you bring up, and I think that's where we're going to go with this conversation about this recall. Now, the Onewheel is really, it's a single wheel, like you said. It is powered by battery. It's look, it's basically an electric one-wheel skateboard is what it is.
Well, here,
Yeah. An
Okay.
electric skateboard.
So
let me show you.
Right.
Okay.
And so to keep
Don't
talking,
drop it.
These are heavy, by the way. If you
Yeah.
hear clanging, it's okay, everybody.
is it a loose wheel?
It literally has one wheel, and there it is. Right. There is a wheel in the middle. Now this is the GT model. Okay.
I have to give you
self-balance.
props. I have to
Okay.
give you props
And it
on
looks
the color scheme. The color scheme is fantastic. Tell him what is the color scheme? You don't like it, Side Shot?
Orange and blue. It's not. It's good. I thought it was gonna be worse.
What is the
Y'all
color
are
scheme?
talking about my Gulf racing colors.
Yes, I love it. I think it's fantastic, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Side Shot was very critical.
Yeah, I get it. Reminds me very much of the Miami Dolphins colors, which could in fact be very close to that.
So this is all customizable. You can put whatever colors you want on the thing. Okay.
Right.
So the issue that the Consumer Safety Commission is calling out is something they call pushback. So basically, when this thing runs low on battery, the front of the board will push back to warn you, and that means it'll do this. It'll tilt up.
Right.
Okay.
That's to get your attention,
It also
correct?
beeps. Yes.
Yeah, it's a safety.
And to slow you down.
Right, and it's all based on balance, correct? The art of this,
Yeah.
Yes.
the art of this vehicle, this personal vehicle, is balance. It's all about balance, right?
It is virtually impossible to miss the pushback.
It really is.
Now, what happens is people ignore it and they push through, which means they lean on forward, and they keep going. Okay, the battery dies, you face plant. The board literally will just dip forward,
Because
You-
you ignored the warning.
will fly off the board, Superman style.
Correct.
And you get what you deserve, right? So my issue with this is a coffee is hot warning on your coffee cup.
Yes.
If you're too stupid to know that the warning is telling you that your battery is low, and if the battery indicator on the board that's 5 dots long, I mean, if you can read a cell phone battery, you can read this battery.
Right.
Then you kind of deserve what you got coming to you. You don't need to be riding one.
Right. And anytime
Right,
someone is
yeah.
injured or dies, as a fatality because of this, it's never a good thing. We all realize that. We
Well,
all
sure.
get that. But
And-
the problem that I think that we're having with this is, where does the responsibility lie? Correct?
That's right. So these are dangerous, and I'm not trying to diminish that. But
No.
what I'm trying to say is, so's a motorcycle, so's a
Or
bicycle,
a bicycle,
so's a Segway.
a go-kart.
And so if you're going to restrict our ability of that freedom, that's going to it's a slippery slope, right?
It really is.
The argument that they're making here is literally that the battery dies and people ignore the warning and you get hurt.
Right, yeah.
Like
that
the-
simple.
Like that is the fault of the manufacturer.
The manufacturer.
Right, who had
Yeah.
no hand in the battery charging aspect of it, or the responsibility and the maintenance and upkeep of that thing.
What do you want them to do? The device warns you that the battery's low. It pushes back on you to tell you to slow down.
And
It
to try to
beeps
get
at
you to
you.
stop.
I mean, how is this their fault? Just like, how is it McDonald's fault when you burn yourself with hot coffee?
Oh, and
Right.
just to be clear, the beeping is really loud. I don't know how you miss it.
Yeah, it's
So-
almost like like an Amazon Prime vehicle backing up, huh? That loud?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I'm not saying that there shouldn't be safety precautions. I mean,
Right.
these things are dangerous, but how do you regulate that, right?
I say-
if you
here's
start
what I
to
say.
regulate that,
I say that Future Motion, who is the manufacturer of these, I think that what they need to do is just somewhere on the skateboard itself, just put in bold print, "Be careful." That should cover it.
oh, it's all over
Yeah.
there. You know, there's all kinds of risk warnings.
If you
Now,
don't know
in the
that,
box.
now coffee has changed since the McDonald's hot coffee incident, because there is cold coffee now. So I think there is some legitimacy to having to put hot drink and cold drink or whatever on it, because
Okay.
some people expect to have to be told what to do, that sort of thing. I just personally think that we have become such a society where nobody is taking blame for their own actions.
That's it. And
It's simple as
these
that.
things are so much fun.
They
Would
really
you agree
are.
with that?
It's really fun.
You grin from ear to ear on one. You are balancing on one wheel. There's so much tech in these things. Like literally, like it has a control board that is taking thousands of readings per minute
Right.
and lots per second, and it's calculating kind of how to keep you stable. Well, of course there's going to be risk in that, right? But we know that. Like when we get on it, we're expecting that bad things are going to happen. That's why we're wearing our safety gear. That's why we're not doing 20 miles an
Right,
hour. That's
yeah.
why I'm not driving down the middle of a 2-lane traffic road.
Right, and on the sidewalk away
Right.
from all the traffic.
So I think to your point, Jay, if we go down this road of it's too dangerous for people to own one, then we got to take away motorcycles. We got to take away e-scooters. The PEV industry in general, which I'm a huge fan of, is in jeopardy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Let's just, Future Motion, the manufacturer of
Yep.
this,
Out of
they-
Santa Cruz, California.
Yep. They responded to the Consumer Product Safety Commission. For those of you in acronym world, that's the CPSC. In response to their warning, Future Motion said, and this was just not long ago, in a press release, that the e-skateboards are safe when the rider follows common sense safe riding practices that are common to any board sport. Absolutely. It's just like going, I love that. It said that the release that it disagrees with this, in a release that it does disagree with the CPSC's conclusions too, by the way. So this could be an ongoing matter, and I would like to revisit this for our audience who's interested in this. And by the way, guys, just leave us a comment and ask about it.
Yep.
Leave us a comment and see if you want to know more about it. Tell us what you think about this. Do you think that that they're overshooting their authority here with this? Do you think the responsibility lies on the manufacturer? How much responsibility does an owner or a rider have in this matter? So let us know, and you can go to partscounterguru.com and go to the podcast links, or there's a comment tab as well, or just go to youtube.com/partscountergurus. If there's a video out on this, you're more than welcome to leave a comment there. There may or may not be, but we'll see what happens. So anyways, This is a good topic of discussion, and look, I know Side Shot rides stuff responsibly. I know that he does, and you've had really no issues with it, right, Side Shot? Just more or less following the direction of what it tells you.
We've fallen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've fallen.
But you're wearing gear. You're wearing gear too, right? You got a helmet on. You got
No scratches, no nothing, no, not even a headache.
The specific, the CPEC or whatever it is, the reason that they're pushing for a recall is over the ejection issues. You're not going to get ejected if you observe the board's warnings.
Correct.
Right.
And look, let's face it, on a skateboard, how many times going down an incline on a skateboard that you hit a rock on your wheel and it ejected you, right? Or something in the road. It happens.
Same thing.
It's the same acceptance of responsibility, knowing that when you get on these things, that things can happen. Just be prepared for it. Suit up. Get ready. And, you're going to get, if you get a boo-boo, you're going to get a boo-boo, So.
I mean, I look at it this way, like, if he ends up with an appendage that's slightly detached, we get that parking spot that I've always wanted, where I don't have to walk as far. So
right.
Anyway, leave us a comment, everybody, and thanks for your thoughts.
Yeah. So wow, man.
Don't tell your mom.
Yeah. So that's crazy. That it's going in that direction, but we need to follow up on that. But anyway, we've got a full show today, guys. So we're going to kind of move this along. And Keith, you guys, if you've been listening for the last several podcasts, and I say several, we've probably put out 3 or 4 surrounding the SEMA show. And in fact, we just released one. Go check it out over at partscounterguru.com. And you can see the podcast links there and go choose whatever platform you wish. That's fine with us. We don't care as long as you enjoy what you're listening to, and we think you will. That one is Skinny Guy. We talk about the Skinny Guy campers, which is an overlanding 4x4 truck topper, drop-in bed topper. It's a cool thing. Go check it out. Those guys are awesome. So
Cab height.
It's awesome
Cab
stuff.
high.
Just make sure you check that out, and you can check out the video segment of that at youtube.com/partscountergurus. So we want to talk about another pretty amazing build. We also shot a video on it. It's over on youtube.com/partscountergurus. It's the Chin Edition Customs 2022 F-150 Lightning Super Cab or Crew Cab or King Cab or whatever you want to call it, that Neil Chin brought to the show. Ford asked him to build this thing, and it's an all-electric pickup truck, as you all know. But what he did to this thing was pretty amazing. Wouldn't you say, Keith?
Yep. Yeah, so, this is the perfect use of SEMA build, right? You're showing what's possible. You're showing the capabilities of the product. And he went out and he got solar panels for a Thule roof storage device. It's all manufacturer built, but he put that thing up there and it charges a battery pack, which is in the bed of the truck, which charges e-bikes, which were like on the back of the truck. And there's so many cool features. And people, Jay, I think you've pointed to this, will sometimes say, yeah, man, but I'm never going to use half that stuff. Well, okay, but that's the purpose of the SEMA build, right?
It's a candy store, man. If you like builds, this is what it's for. Most of the time, it may not have a practical use, but it's a SEMA build. It's what can we do
Right.
that's going to blow your mind, and Neil does
Right.
that. You know, he
What
did
is capable?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And so to point out some of the things that Neil did to this thing. Hoppo's air suspension were the ones that put the air ride suspension on this thing. It is the only all-electric truck the only one with an air suspension on it right now. Is it? Neil built it.
And if you haven't seen it in our video, check it out. There's a cut where he leans in the truck and flips a switch, and literally it pssts, and the truck drops.
Right.
And he made a comment about, hey, when my wife gets in, I push this button or something.
Right.
That wasn't me saying that. That's him saying that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No, but then he quickly said, no, you. No, yeah, so.
Right.
Let me tell you, Ford is the one that asked Neil to build this thing. And in fact, Ford has called this thing the Swiss Army knife of trucks. And it truly is, because it has a little bit of everything. Like Keith said, solar charging, portable air compressor, refrigerator, console vault, Recaro front and rear seats, the Thule cargo accessories, all that stuff. He also had a couple of two Super 73 e-bikes mounted on the back end of that thing. That you go off road, you want to take a little two-wheeler off and go have fun in
Sure.
it. That's for. Those are electric bikes.
Yeah.
But one of the things that was pretty impressive, and this was a kind of an exclusive thing that Neil let us in on, the rooftop tent that he had, which is a Thule rooftop tent, is not available in the U.S. yet. However, he had it on the top of this truck, and it is coming to the U.S. So in 2023, keep your eye out there on a rooftop tent from Thule, which was used on this particular build. I think he also had Nitto grappler tires on it. I mean, the list is
He
on
did.
and on. Yeah, this thing was killer.
And you know what my favorite thing about this build was, Jay, and probably Neil, in terms of his personality, which I feel like I can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite thing about this build, can I tell you guys?
Let's hear it.
He said, we're going to take this home and we're going to use it.
Yeah.
It's not going in a museum.
Nope.
It's getting used.
Yeah, we're going to
built it to be used.
Yeah, we're going to take it home. We're going to beat it up on the way home, and he has. And
Yep.
I've followed him. He's been at several. He's been at the LA Auto Show since then. He was down in New Mexico, I believe, as well at another show. So he is taking this thing across the country and showing it off. So I would highly recommend that you go to Chin Edition, and that's TJIN, Chin Edition. Customs.com or chinedition.com. You'll go to his website and you'll get all the info you need there. You can follow him on Facebook and Instagram. He's all over socials and stuff. But I like Neil for the same reason that everybody that watched that video did. And I had someone that watched our video on it. Again, you can catch it over on youtube.com/Parts Kind of Gurus. One guy commented to me, he goes, gosh, man, what a beautiful build. And he just seems so chill. And my comment back to him was, yeah, he actually is. Super, super nice guy and very excited about his build. Really wanted to tell everyone about it. He's been doing it for 2 decades now, building for SEMA. And as a little bit of a surprise here, I'm gonna pull this out. I haven't asked Neil yet, but Keith, we're gonna get him on. Neil's gonna come on to our podcast.
I would love that.
And we're gonna talk about some of his past builds and hopefully catch up with him on some future builds. We've got some other SEMA builders that are going to be coming on in the next several weeks, so just make sure you pay attention to this podcast at partskindofguru.com /podcast links. There you go. So,
Yep. Make sure you're subscribed, everybody.
Absolutely. What a killer truck. Thanks, Neil, for that again. Yeah, so, wow. Do we need to take a breather here? Do we need to? Does anybody need some mints or popcorn or anything between the segments here?
You need a snack?
We need a snack. We need an apple.
Sure.
Are you? Yeah.
I don't know.
Jay, now don't worry. We'll carry the show for you, buddy.
Yeah.
What's next?
All right, so let's talk Nashville Super Speedway, which is not the Super
Okay.
Speedway. That's something that's been the Nashville Super Speedway has been in the headlines over the last decade for many reasons. First off, it was a
Right.
state-of-the-art track that came into the area, but it was built way out. It was out by the bypass that they built, which is 840. They built hotels out there to accommodate the people going to the race, and then all of a sudden it dried up. It died. It was
kind of a sad story.
It really is. And even a sadder story was the fact that we had such a gym right in the middle of the city. If for those of you who aren't familiar with Nashville, just to the south of downtown, there is the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway and Fairgrounds. Okay, that is where they used to hold the CMT festival. What they used to call what was it? Fanfare. Used to be called Fanfare, right? Many
Yes.
years ago.
Yes.
Now it's
Yes.
the CMT festival. They've moved it downtown.
Because it was actually a fair at the fairgrounds.
Exactly, and everybody was accessible. That was back in the day whenever Dolly Parton, Hank Williams Jr.,
Yep.
all these big names were there ready to talk to you and get a picture with them, and you can get their autograph.
You, me.
Yeah. Yeah, you and me, yeah.
That's where we met.
The Gurus, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the Gurus, yeah.
Right next door.
Right next door. That's exactly.
Seriously.
Yeah, we did.
Right. We used to. There was nothing like being able to walk outside your office building and hear. See if I can do this justice. Right.
Right, and we had a great, we had a high level seat for that, man. You could see clearly down to the track and everything. So,
Yeah.
But what we're talking about is the Fairground Speedway, guys, that has been kind of out of the spotlight for quite some time now. Nashville's still trying to figure out what they want to be.
Well, it's a great space. It's right downtown. I mean, it's right there.
What did they just build right next to it? Also, they just built the new Major League Soccer stadium.
Oh, right.
Right
Yeah,
next
yeah,
door.
yeah. Right.
So what they've done with the fairgrounds area, guys, is they've turned it into somewhat of a mixed use. They got the Major League Soccer field there now. But NASCAR is coming back to the Nashville Fairground Speedway. Bristol's involved.
Bristol Motor Speedway,
Yep.
which apparently is a company that extends outside of Bristol,
Right.
is partnering in this development or redevelopment.
Right. And so, in somewhat of a statement, the Nashville Mayor's Office reached a lease and development agreement with Bristol Motor Speedway for the race company to manage, operate, and maintain the Nashville Fairground Speedway. In my opinion, for the Nashville Fairground Speedway to work, I think you have to have someone like Bristol Motor Speedway management come in and help them get it off the ground. You take a look at what the Bristol Motor Speedway does themselves. It is over 100,000 bodies in a bowl inside of this massive, just huge complex where they're just spinning around in a little circle for hours upon hours upon hours. It's one of the coolest things to watch. There's spin outs, there's wrecks, and it's like you're still in this thing as long as you don't go more than 5 laps down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're still in it. It's anybody's game. So it's a bang bang race, and that's what this speedway will be as well. And
Smaller.
It is smaller.
Smaller than the one that you were talking about earlier, which is outside of Nashville, which is this super speedway, if I'm not mistaken.
right. From a funding standpoint, the project will be funded by an upfront contribution of $17 million by the state of Tennessee, and another $17 million from the Nashville Convention and Visitors Corporation. They said that they will. The Metro Sports Authority will issue 30-year revenue bonds to finance the speedway renovation. And I think that the renovation, the track resurfacing will have to take place. Plus, the pit road, that area, the garage area, is going to have to be worked on some. And then, of course, obviously, seating will have to be definitely pulled out and put new in.
You're going to need a seat. I'm going to need a seat. We might need a couple guest seats if we're gonna, we're gonna have an office out there, right?
Right.
That's where you were headed, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely.
Yeah? Okay.
So, I got to say, I'm excited for Nashville to get this to be back in the spotlight in the racing community. They've already got the IRL races that happen downtown. Isn't it an IRL race? Yeah. Which is that's in July every year.
It's cool. It's fun. Yeah, I've done it. It's so fast, man. So for those of you that have not in person watched a city street race, those cars are so fast that there's obstruction. There's buildings. There's, you see them come around a turn. You maybe have a quarter mile straight or a half mile straight if you're lucky, and then they're gone. And you can hear the echoes through the buildings, but you literally are zoom, 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 right? And if you set up outside of a turn, they slow down, they turn, they accelerate out. You get to see them a little bit longer. But I'm comparing that to a speedway like this one that they're redeveloping, where you can kind of see the whole track. I mean, depending on how low you are.
Yeah, it's
right.
If
you're up high enough, you can see the whole race.
Well, what's nice about the track, and I've been there many times over the years, to watch like some of the legend races where you would have, Dale Earnhardt would come and race there. Sterling Marlin. Darrell Waltrip, his brother Michael Waltrip, they raced there. A lot of these guys started their careers at Nashville Speedway, the Fairground Speedway.
Right. Yeah.
So that's how legendary the Speedway is and how fun it is. But it's kind of sunken, so it's kind of below, if you will, track level or sea level, if you will. But if you're up in a seat, you can see the whole thing and watch. That's how it is now, and I don't know what it will be in the future, but it's going to be pretty cool. I also am of the understanding that the super speedway that's out in Gladeville, which is to the east about, say, 30 to 40 minutes off of I-40, it's an awesome track as well. They have a drag strip, and they just had their first NASCAR race there this past
last year
season. Yeah, so things are happening in Nashville. Nashville's really becoming that motor city that it was and should have continued to be, but for whatever reason they kind of lost their way. I think they were more focused on selling beers and pedal taverns and that sort of stuff rather than racing cars on the track. But it built the economy up, and it also, I guess, upset a lot of natives of Nashville, but that's the price of progress, unfortunately, and that's kind of where Nashville's at. So good luck to you guys with that track. And I'm going to commit to this now. I'm going to say that Keith and I, if they do have a race there that is a NASCAR officiated race, Keith and I will be there for that race. How about that? That fair enough?
Well, now you got to bring me.
Darrell Waltrip's retired, right? So there's always, there's a possibility there.
Hey, I'm going to give Darrell a plug because I always love saying this just because I can. Darrell owns a little dealership down in south of Nashville and Franklin, Tennessee, but he used to always come on the local station and says his logo was a star, just a star, right? Darrell Waltrip Honda at the time. I think it's Subaru now or something like that, right? But he used to always say,
still got the Honda, I think.
Still got okay. He would say, if you don't see my star on your car, you better come see old DW, and we'll leave it at that, guys. So,
pardon me 1 second. To you younger kids, like Side Shot, you know him as Darrell Cartrip from the movie Cars.
Oh, that's
Cars
right.
2. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's right. Dang old, tell you what.
That was his character.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, I got a dang old man, take him around, put a little oil around that spark plug and go, boom!
That's Boomhauer.
Yeah.
Which,
do you have Boom?
Here.
Do you have Boom today? I like our Boom, man. Boom's my favorite character on that show. So. Wow. All right. So you back?
I have something better than Boom.
Oh, wait. What? Jay knows Pac-Man.
Do I hear it? Maybe he'll pick up on your end. I'm not really hearing it that well, but
yeah, he's trying to get us a copyright claim, Jay.
Oh man, yeah. That's what we need is a copyright claim because
the dog's in the fridge
because we're rolling in money right now. Yes, we're just rolling in it. Yes, I'm sweating nickels and dimes, man. It's just terrible. So, Toyota, Keith and I have said this over and over and over again. Where have they been? They're playing the long game. We know they're doing that. And they're still a little bit unique in their approach, and this is a fine example of it. In fact, in the intro I said, we're going to talk about the next generation of this vehicle, what it is and what it isn't. And so what we're talking about is the 2023 Toyota Prius, which has been a really, really good hybrid vehicle for Toyota over the years and the masses. Hey, you guys don't pay.
Sorry, are we trying to have a serious podcast here?
He opened his iPad.
I think so. Would you guys knock it off?
This is why you don't. Yeah. Okay. I was trying to look at the Prius. I was
Ladies
trying
and
to look
He
at the
literally
Prius.
opened it and let it blast.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I do not like podcasting with my children. This is it. This is it.
You work with young talent. Anything can happen, right?
Right. No, but all is good. The contributions from Side Shot go unspoken sometimes, but thank you. But anyway, back to the Prius. Keith asked me a very, very good question when I first brought this to his attention, that it's back and it's the next generation. He said, well, so it's going to be all electric, right? No. Not going to be all electric. It's basically what Toyota says is that it wants to evoke enthusiasm, and within those that own it, significant improvements have been made to the plug-in hybrid powertrain. So yeah, it's still going to continue to be a plug-in hybrid powertrain, which we're used to. But for me, what the most noticeable thing about this was their refinement and sleekness of the exterior, which makes it a little bit more appealing to someone to want to buy it. Because before it looked like a big block, like a Dutch wooden shoe. To me, I don't know how else. You know what I'm saying? Like a Dutch wooden shoe is what it looked like. You know, the back end was really big and all that sort of stuff, but a very reliable source of transportation for Toyota and the owners of that vehicle, I think, for over the years. But they're building this thing on the second generation TNGA platform that Keith and I have talked about in prior podcasts, which you can check out at partscounterguru.com/the podcast links. Or go over to youtube.com/partscountergurus and you can check out those videos there. But I think what you're going to have here is this is the next step for this thing to go all EV, and it may not even be called a Prius.
So,
I don't know.
I've considered the errors of my ways, Jay.
You have?
And here, hold that. Bring up the console that you want to talk about. So my initial response was. Is it going to be an EV?
Right.
And, we just talked about that. I don't think that makes sense. I think Toyota is right not to make this an EV. And here's why. Okay. This is an established platform that has a big following.
Right.
If you go mess with that and you change it completely, you lose potentially most of your followers, right?
Right.
So if you're going to make an electric version, do it under a different model, right? Maybe not the Prius badge. Do e-Prius or do something completely different, right?
Prius Plus.
Right.
Yeah. Or
there you go. Well,
just don't even use the word Prius.
Yeah, exactly. You could go in any direction with the name, yes.
But if you go Prius and you try to change that to an electric vehicle, I think you risk losing. It's very fuel efficient. You get people that maybe want to drive them on long trips further than the 200 or 300 mile battery range, and you can't do that in electric. I don't know. You guys let us know what you think, but I feel like it makes sense now that I've reconsidered to leave them as a hybrid.
I think that it gives them a broader audience right now too.
Yeah.
Especially for those who have the range anxiety. I do as well, Side Shot. I think you're absolutely correct. In the meantime, they're continuing to work on their BZ EV platforms. They've got a third or fourth model that's going to be released in China as we speak.
And put those on their own platform.
Right. Which if
right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And if you know about the TNGA platform, that is the platform that they have set for most of their electric vehicles. So this is all part of the bigger plan, and they're playing the long game. They're not going to go all out EV right away. We don't see that happening, but it will be coming. Now, some of the powertrains that were announced in Japan, the first one is a 2.0-liter dynamic force four-cylinder engine with an electric motor and lithium-ion batteries to deliver a combined 220 horsepower. Toyota says that this variant has 50% more EV driving range than the previous model, but has not yet released the specific range number. The other powertrain is Toyota's Series Parallel Hybrid system, available in the 1.8-liter and 2.0-liter applications and producing as much as 193 horsepower. This model also features the brand's E4 all-wheel drive system to provide better performance on low friction and road surface and greater stability while cornering. I think there's also some, there may be some solar charging for accessories that are built into this thing as well. So they've kind of really well thought this thing out for the future. I think that you again, like we said in the middle of this discussion, that this may not be the Prius in 2 years. It may be something else, but they're not like totally abandoning this particular platform at the moment.
Right.
Now, from a design perspective, from a cosmetic. And Sideshot went right to this. He was like, ooh, let me see the center console, the infotainment. It's not huge. It's not EV big, if you know what I mean.
Right.
That center display is kind of traditional. It's not that different from the previous generation Prius.
Right.
Okay.
But in overall, it kind of looks like more modernized or advanced technology.
They refreshed it. It's nice. I don't have an issue with it. I feel like if they tried to put like a 14-inch screen in there, we would go, this isn't an EV. Why did you do that? And so I think it works.
I do too.
Yeah. The other thing that I noticed, Jay, I see heavy influences here from a Model 3.
Yeah.
Or a Model Y. Do you see that? Especially on the back end.
I'm with you.
Which, it's aerodynamic, sure. That's the trend. I get it.
I really dig the one here that's in. It looks like the cactus gray, if you will.
We're looking at that. Yeah.
A lot of your is that what the name of that color is? The Tundras and the Tacomas are in the same color.
Not sure.
But I really love that color. But they're displaying a yellow one, a gray one, and a blue one, and a red one, and they all look
the yellow one's not
good.
so bad.
Nope. I would.
Yeah, it's kind of like mach-y, kind of yellow, kind of.
What do you mean mach-y yellow?
Right. Right.
You mean like 400Z?
Hey, don't correct your dad on his podcast.
I thought this was your job.
See what I live with, Jay?
I do see what you live with.
I'm constantly scrutinized.
It's okay, and that'll happen for the rest of your lives. Trust me, I have two kids. I know.
Yeah. So yeah.
He will always know more than you. He will always know more than you. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so there you have it, Toyota fans. If you're a Prius fan, if you like the hybrid thing, and which is not a bad platform to have. I think it gives you the best of both worlds. Lower on emissions, obviously, better gas mileage, economy for a lot of reasons, and then you've got the opportunity if you're just in city doing local driving, you can use all electric, and then when you run out of battery, you just kick in the gas motor and go where you need to go. So it's good stuff.
Yep.
So make sure you subscribe to our podcast and our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Parts County Gurus. The podcast is at partscountygurus.com, and just hit the podcast links for this audio version as well as some video versions coming out soon. So thank you. Oof. Man, so we're, we didn't intend, we always talk about this, Keith, and I hope that people understand where you and I fit in this picture of the automotive industry if our background is engine components, right? I mean, we we've always all of our lives have tinkered with gasoline engines. You know, but why are we talking about all of the electric vehicles? Is because there's no way around it. I mean, just ask SEMA, ask PRI, ask those guys.
I would like for you and I to keep doing this and be doing it in 5 years, and I think if we don't talk about those trends, then
we're missing out.
We're going to fade away.
We will fade away, and I think that our audience likes to hear the new trends and stuff. Now, granted, not everybody's happy with electric vehicles. That's okay. That's you're right. That's fine. But just hear what we have to say. I mean, we're automotive industry guys, and whether you like it or not, electric vehicles are part of that industry, and they are creating jobs. And people still have to work on them. I mean,
said it many, many times. We're just the John Madden and the Pat Summerall here. Drinking and calling the ball game, right? I mean, what are we doing?
Can we get some? Can we get some turducken over here? Some turducken.
So, I think we're fans of innovation, and it's hard to ignore what's happening on the innovation side with EVs.
Well, okay.
And
here's the finest example, Keith. Right?
I just lost my wingman.
So that's okay. He'll be back. So you like Ken Block, right?
Yeah.
You like the Hoonigan series, right? You like the Giancana files, right? You liked all that, right?
It's fascinating.
Again,
it's fun.
Let us remind you what did Ken just bring out? What did he bring out? What's he driving?
The e-tron, the Audi electric all-wheel drive drift car.
So are you now not a fan of Ken?
Hoonitron.
Are you now?
It's an e-tron.
Are you now not a fan of Ken Block's because he's driving an electric vehicle?
I see what you just did there.
Yeah.
Well played, Jay. Yeah.
I'm just saying. I mean, if there's ever
you're saying that. Wait, let me. So if I say that I'm a fan of automotive, but I don't like things that aren't powered a certain way, I'm inauthentic?
Yeah, I think that's what some people are pretty much poo-pooing the idea of electric vehicles. Look, the argument, we understand some of the arguments out there about electric vehicles. We get it.
Sure.
But we're trying to pound home to you guys that they understand it too, and they're addressing those concerns every single year. They're getting better and better at these things. Just as we broadcasted on our last podcast about Rivian dealing with the icing over of their headlights because they're LEDs and they're not halogen, so they don't create enough heat to melt off the ice. Those things will change. That'll change. Somebody in the aftermarket's already fixed it, even in the week since we've talked about that or longer. And so my point is, leading into this next segment, is that we want to talk about these things because it's not going away. It's fun to talk about, and there's some pretty cool stuff that comes out of it, like this particular one, right? So, as you guys know, Keith and I, we talk about Fisker, we've talked about Karma, we're into Rivians, we talk Tesla, and then you have Lucid. Lucid Motors is one of those companies out there that continues to tease us with a little bit here and there. The Lucid Air was the last one that they came out in production, I think. There is a new one on the horizon, and they have test driven it, and it is pretty awesome. Let's talk about it.
So we're big fan. I am a big fan of that company. I put them even with Rivian in terms of the innovation, pushing the envelope.
It's pretty good.
Yep.
And they're going luxury on the EV side, which separates them from Tesla. There's a differentiation there. How many people have we talked to? Marlon, I talked to somebody the other day that went, hey, I just ordered a BMW X4. I was looking at a Tesla, but I felt like it wasn't really a luxury car.
Because the insides are kind of very simple.
Yep.
So Lucid is basically going after that demographic, and they're saying we are a luxury EV manufacturer, and we're going to deliver performance in the same manner that maybe a Mercedes or a BMW does. And we like all those things, right? Like Jay, you like things that go fast, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
Bless you. So here we go. This is what? The Lucid Sapphire?
Correct.
And
Yeah.
Jay,
Correct.
you told me this, and you told me the specs, and I went, wait, what?
Yeah. Well, let's face it. Not everybody can afford a Koenigsegg, right? Not everybody can.
Right.
Not everybody can afford a Pininfarina Battista, right? But what Lucid has done is they've taken technology that's out there and put it in the Sapphire, and they're calling it a super sports car. It's the luxury electric super sport sedan. It is a tri-motor all-wheel drive, right? But when we tell you what the specs are, it really kind of fits into another category that blows my mind.
I have one thing to tack onto this at the end that is going to be Jay told me that I wasn't. I'm putting words in your mouth here. We needed a little bit more controversy to make things juicy, so I'm just showing up with controversy now. But go ahead. What kind of specs do we have?
Well, first of all, this thing is able to do 0 to 60 miles an hour in under 2 seconds. In fact, 1.89 seconds. 1.89 seconds.
That's like hypercar class.
Yeah.
That's like above hypercar class.
Yeah.
During the testing, it got up to a top speed of 205 miles an hour.
Now, for those of you that are casual EV fans, let me just point to probably a little bit more obvious fact to the big hardcore EVers. Your top speeds on electric vehicles typically are not as high because those electric motors have that's where internal combustion really shines.
Yeah.
It's harder for an electric motor to deal with the resistance created at higher speeds, right? So that is huge. 205 miles an hour. Wow.
Right. And again, like Keith just said, it is a known fact that there are limiters that are put on these vehicles for not necessarily keep you from going so fast, but to help with range.
Yes.
And
not ruining the battery.
That's absolutely correct. So the faster you go in these things, the more you wind them up, the more energy it takes to do so, and it can be a not so good thing. But me personally, I'm waiting for that to change. That's going to change down the road. We've said this. What?
One Mr. Fusion away from having that all revolutionized.
Absolutely, man. I mean, we've talked about it. We said it. Jim from Optima Battery said it on our recent podcast that what we don't want is our politicians making these decisions for us on how we can do things with our vehicles. Right. We should have the right to be able to do what we want with them. But the bigger thing out of that is that technology from the performance industry will make its way into everyday consumer vehicles. And that is where we're at now with this right here. This is hypercar material. Now, when we say hypercar, okay, let's just an example. Another hypercar that's all electric, right? It's the Pininfarina Battista. It is considered the world's fastest accelerating road legal car. The Hyper GT does, they call it a Hyper GT, see? The Hyper GT does 0 to 60 in 1.79 seconds. That's not that much faster, correct? Based on
it's
point.
Now.
Right.
Now.
It's like not noticeable.
Exactly.
They're too slow.
Now.
Right.
Now.
So it goes from 0 to 62, and they say 62. Check this out: 0 to 62 in 1.86 seconds. Okay.
So we're right there.
Yeah.
In fact, if you line these up, depending on the driver, you could have different results in terms of which vehicle wins.
0.3 difference in that acceleration point, right?
No.
Top speed. You're right. Top speed on the Pininfarina Battista is 217 miles an hour.
So again, not that far off.
Not
right?
that far off.
Yeah.
Now, here's the bigger thing.
Pretty close competition.
Now, if I am those guys, if you'd like to buy a Pininfarina Battista hypercar, all electric hypercar. Get your
Wait, let me go get my checkbook. I'll be right back.
Get your checkbook out now.
Okay.
You care to take a guess, Keith, on what that
Side shot.
car?
Yes. Get my checkbook.
You care to take a stab at this here, price here?
1.1 million.
Ooh, higher.
Oh,
All right, I'm ready. Who do I make the check out to?
Me. I'll go buy it for you.
I would go $3 million. $3 million?
You're a little higher, but it's $2.25 million.
Okay.
That's how much the Pininfarina hypercar cost. Now it's quad motor. It's not 3 motors. It's quad motor. So it is all right.
Yep.
That's one difference. It's a little bit faster. It has a little bit. It's only 0.03 faster in the 0 to 62, and it's only overall top speed is only 12 miles an hour faster than the Lucid Sapphire. Now, you know how much the Lucid Sapphire costs? They expect it to be.
I don't, but I would like to guess. Can I guess?
Go.
Do you want me to be ridiculous to make a point, or do you want me to give you my actual, what I think it would cost?
Be Keith.
600,000.
Be Keith.
I'm going to go 230.
You're almost spot on. It's quarter of a mil, $249,000. So there you go. Not bad, right?
So
No,
that really makes it like a better option.
This is the same thing that General Motors did with the C8 Corvette.
Right.
For less than $100,000, you got performance that you typically would not get for twice that price.
Exactly.
You'd spend a couple $100,000 to get the performance numbers that you get out of the C8.
Mm-hmm.
So for a Lucid Sapphire, for that same money, what you would typically have to spend, as Jay just made the case for here, you're over $2 million.
Right. I think that this is the greatest example of supercar technology and performance making its way into the everyday consumer's realm to even be able to think about buying one, right?
Sure.
Most people don't have millions of dollars laying around to go spend on a hypercar that's going to sit in a garage for, most of the time, right? So hats off to Lucid. I'm excited about this. I'm excited about everything that they're doing.
I really want to learn more about this.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So we're going to learn more about it. Side Shot, hopefully, will dig deeper for us. Like I said, you guys, he's kind of the silent guy in the background, kind of making some of these, making these things come to fruition for us on air. So we appreciate all the work that he puts into it. And we're going to have him on the next update for the specifically for this particular model.
That's why he was behind getting me a Onewheel, right? So I could get ejected off the Onewheel, and then he could take my spot on the show, and then it was you two doing the thing, and I was,
Right.
Anyway.
Right. So there you have it, guys.
If you don't know what we're talking about, make sure you're subscribed to the podcast. We did a segment earlier on the Onewheel and the controversy surrounding that, partscounterguru.com. Look for the podcast tab.
That's it. So, wow, man. All right, so we're getting it into the wrapping up stages, but we got one more piece of information that we want to share with you guys. And as Keith said, he's been on his controversial. Right.
Oh. So I forgot. Man, now we're gonna have to go back and edit this in. This is what DeLorean should have done.
Oh yes, I don't disagree with you.
I'm talking about the Lucid Sapphire. If DeLorean would have done those kinds of performance numbers in their new DeLorean EV, I think it would have gotten them more attention.
I don't know that they have the capital to do that yet, and that might be a lot of the reasons why. Remember, they were struggling to kind of even figure out what their identity was before Keith and I on our show said what we thought that they should do with it. If there was any vehicle to make a comeback that could pull off being an electric vehicle, it was going to be DeLorean.
Yep.
And they did. So, which, by the way, guys, we also podcasted, but we had a segment where Keith talked with a gentleman at SEMA who had converted his DeLorean, his old DMC-12, over to an all-electric vehicle. It's really good. You can catch that over at youtube.com/Parts Counter Gurus. Make sure you subscribe.
And they make drop-in conversions. So think about this. Like when we did the PRI interview last year where we interviewed the guy that converted the Corvette, right? That did it on his own. That wasn't really something, that was a one-off.
Right.
So we are now in this territory with resto mods where you can potentially restore an old vehicle and buy a drop-in conversion kit. Do I have like a salad in my teeth or something?
No.
What? I'm getting the nudge, the gentle nudge.
I don't know. Well, hey, if Sideshot's saying we need to wrap it up, we should probably get rolling, huh?
It's the hook, I think, is coming out.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. Well, look, again, talking about controversy. What is up with Twitter, dude? What is up with Twitter?
It's a train wreck. It's the train wreck that nobody can look away from.
Dude, when you see Elon Musk walking into the headquarters of Twitter with a kitchen sink in his arms, something is not quite right, man. There's got to be some.
So
there must be some like lines crossed here when like human resources somewhere, man. I don't know.
Well, I think your live polling, thing where you talk about in the automotive industry where it's like there's some live polling going on. Let's try stuff and see what's working. Disney just went through a Bob swap, if you will. They fired their CEO of only 2 years, Bob Chapek, who replaced Bob Iger, who retired 2 years ago. And Disney just recently brought Iger back because the other Bob was, I don't know what he was doing. He was doing a bunch of stuff that didn't seem magical. I'll leave it at that. Let's try stuff and see what works. And I think there's some of that going on Twitter.
Yeah, there's, not just Elon trying something to see if it works, right?
Right.
And that's where we're going.
And whatever your politics are and whoever you're rooting for and all that, things are changing on Twitter one way or the other. And I think Elon perhaps maybe counted on some things like reinstating some famous Twitter accounts that maybe didn't go the way he thought they would. And so now it's back to the drawing board, so to speak. I mean, it's kind of Wild West, right?
It is. It really is right now. And tell us about the blue check mark. What does that give you?
Oh.
Yeah, so it's a verification system. And in historically speaking, before Elon took over Twitter, to be a blue check mark, you had to go through a verification process. You had to be a person of status, meaning like a celebrity, right?
Right.
So
a VIP, if you will, yeah.
Yeah, so to speak, like a Hollywood celebrity, a famous person,
like Marlon, like our buddy Marlon, right?
Yeah,
a verified,
like
bona fide, very important person. Yes.
And there were basically the reasoning behind that was so that I couldn't pretend to be someone that would be a true influencer.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And it turns out I'm not. And there's been some of that going on lately, like people pretending to be famous basketball players or dead presidents, like George Washington apparently is. I'm following Jay. I'm following George Washington on Twitter. I'm not sure if you knew that or not. Well, he is now a blue check mark.
And you're also following Jesus Christ, though, right?
Yes, I recommend everyone follow Jesus Christ. If no other place, at least on Twitter, he is also a blue check mark now.
Right, verified. So there you go.
Yeah.
My question is, existing people who had a blue check mark,
they've been given notification that if they don't buy into the new system and pay for it, their blue check mark will go away in, I think it's 60 days. Right? And a lot of those people have just went, well, see ya. I don't need it.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see where Twitter goes. It really is.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing is for sure, Jay, Elon is kind of living his life a quarter mile at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it, man. Yeah. I get it. That's funny, man.
So,
but well, you got to have your drums for that, man.
They're over here.
Okay.
I got you and him.
behind the like 5 pages.
So, Sideshot knows of the Fast and Furious movie franchise. Yes. Okay. So someone has taken to Jade. This was your discovery. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, there's this individual. I don't know if it's a guy or a gal or I have no idea. I just know that it's an interesting handle, which I will give to you here in a moment. They decided through all the chaos to with what was going on with Twitter to see if they could pull this off. But the original classic from 2001, I think, is when it came out, The Fast and the Furious. This person uploaded the entire 1 hour and 46-minute film in a series of 2-minute clips broken up into 52 tweets. That's hilarious, man.
You literally can watch the whole movie 2 minutes at a time on Twitter. Or you could have. It got shut down.
You could have, yep. And it said at the time when this story broke that with potentially nobody at Twitter headquarters that weekend, which was last weekend, in fact, to put a stop to it, the masterpiece may very well remain online for all to marvel, free of charge, the way it should be. Now, what was even more hilarious was the guy's Twitter handle, which was at anally retended. So there you go. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, and I don't think we're done seeing shenanigans on Twitter. I think there's more to come.
No, I'm with you. We're on Twitter, guys. By the way, guys, you can follow us over there. We are at The Counter Show. So make sure you follow us over there for more of these exciting stories.
You know, follow Mark Twain first, and then us, right?
Maybe you should pay up for that blue check mark.
I mean, is that... well, and the question then becomes, does it really have any value anymore? Is it worth it? Right?
Anybody can get it.
I think it's going to go from a blue check to a blue ribbon if you stay with the program. So there you go. I don't know. Who knows what he has up his sleeve? No, there's no way telling with this guy. So, and he's officially not even manning the Tesla headquarters anymore. Is he? He's not even. Did he sell his portion of it off?
I don't know what's going on there. It's been a minute. I've been so distracted by Twitter that I've stopped paying attention to what's automotive industry stuff.
Right, to what's actually going on in the world. Yeah.
Or failing at your job.
Right. Yes. So there
Be
you have it.
Be careful who you invite on your program, ladies and gentlemen. You never know where things can go, especially with young talent.
So there you have it, guys. We are the Parts Counter Gurus, land of controversy, guys, bringing you everyday controversy and automotive news in between. So thank you for listening. I would personally like to thank Sideshot for coming on board with us today. Appreciate it, my friend. Yeah?
Thank you.
Keep
Very fun and interesting every time I come on.
Yep. Well, we love it.
Also, if you heard that noise, that was our dog drinking water as aggressively as dog can.
You just learn to roll with whatever happens on the road, Jay.
Can you edit? Can you edit it so you can bring up the levels on that so we can hear?
I'll do my best. Yeah.
Right at that moment, right now. Yeah. So you get a recording of. Oh, there you go, Sideshot. Get a recording of the young lucky one.
Be careful what you ask for.
Right. So there you go. But anyway, so I don't really have much more to say today other than thank you guys for joining us. As always, if you are subscribed to our podcast and our YouTube channel, thank you so much. We love what we do, and by you subscribing and listening and watching, it helps us continue to do what we are doing, and we love that very much, and we want to keep doing this. So thanks so much for that. Make sure you go to our socials. We're on Facebook.com/Parts Counter Gurus. We are on Instagram. We are at The Parts Counter Gurus. We're on Twitter, which is at The Counter Show. We are on TikTok. We're The Parts Counter Gurus. And youtube.com/Parts Counter Gurus. And always go to our website at partscountergurus.com, and you can find everything that I just mentioned right there. And we also have some merchandise for sale, which will help us. If you really want to help us, Go check out some of the merch. We got a few hats up there. We're going to be putting out some information very soon, some Christmas gifts that will be available to you at discounted prices, especially the Helinox chairs that we did a spot on that Keith did an awesome job with.
Coupons.
We got some more videos. Coupons. Yes.
They're already on the, there's a link on the website.
So, guys, if you want to help
Picture of
us,
a chair.
go buy a Helinox chair from
Yep.
our website or the video, and that'll give us some
You
love.
will not be disappointed, everybody. They are fantastic.
Awesome chair.
And you know what's kind of sad about their TikTok is I've been on TikTok for 2 years and they already have more views than me.
See,
Yeah,
there
we're
you go.
legit.
We are legit. They don't have blue check marks over there, do they?
No. Do they?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do.
they do.
Yeah, they
Oh,
do.
okay.
Hey, we need to get a blue check mark,
They're
man.
like toothpaste.
Hey, for you guys, leave us a comment if you
Toothpaste
want us
color.
to get a blue check mark, and it's going to come out of Side Shot's pocket.
Yeah, perfect. Well played. All right, so you guys don't need me.
Yeah.
Here, watch this. So, do you think you could do me? You think you could sit in for me, take my place, fill my shoes?
No,
No, because you know I'm about to
you're too much.
throw you in the deep end, right? So this is the part of the show where you tell everybody thanks for making us a regular part of their lives.
Huh? I never heard of that before.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for making us a regular part of your lives in the form of your subscriptions. It means the
Thank
world to
you.
us. For my pal Jay all the way over there, and for Side Shot right here, I'm
You
Keith.
mean over there?
Now, this is the part where you come up with either something inspirational or something clever to leave everybody with.
ZYX.
He's still practicing for that. Oh, never mind.
You know what? That works for me. Maybe next time Side Shot will have the alphabet backwards. He's going to keep practicing. Have a good holiday, everybody. We'll talk to you on the next one.
See you later, guys.
RQPONMLKJIH.